Hmm. Hmm. You know what? I honestly don't have any stupid intro for this time, so we might as well just start this one. Let's hit it.
I just wanted to say
You're listening to the
Your fan favorite section on Break Time on West Side. Welcome to Break Time on West Side, your number one break time podcast show coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is Denver B. We are at the season finale, and this is the fan favorite section, episode 24, the end of season 2. For those of you all that have been with us all the way till the end of the season, thank you so much for listening in, for giving, your comments, your feedback, your criticisms. All those are heavily appreciated by me from the Break Time on West Side family. So this time, I don't think I'm gonna even go that far because there's very few questions, only 3. But while I'm working on that, for those of you all that didn't hear, I will be doing minisodes. And the whole idea of the minisodes is I want to give you guys a small dose before we go back in for season 3. So for the next month, I'll be doing some very short episodes, mostly on IGTV, but I will try and make them available on your favorite podcast streaming platforms. But before that gets done, well, we have some questions to do. So we might as well get into it. But before we do though, I recently saw a suspension letter from a certain Christian university somewhere here in Kenya, and it was suspending this guy because of, wait for it, cohabiting with his girlfriend. And that, it struck me in the wrong area. It struck me in the properly wrong area, because that is, in my opinion, one of the stupidest things you can ever do. And by you, I mean the school. Why the fuck are you suspending someone for cohabiting with someone while they're in their own personal space? Personally, I think this is part of the reason why a lot of people don't like Christianity, in a sense. Sorry, I'm slightly being distracted by messages of fine-looking women. But that being said, I'll probably edit that out though. I don't see why the hell it is that you have to go and micromanage someone to the most personal level. If they busted this guy masturbating, they'd probably also suspend him as well. Not that I'm saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a Christian university. They might have their thoughts in it. But my issue usually tends to come in whenever these guys, aka the university administration, start to micromanage people like that in a primary boarding school. And I know how primary school boarding is in terms of micromanagement because I was in a primary boarding school. Now, that being said, though, it was just the guy that got suspended. It was the guy alone who got suspended. The lady got nothing done to her. And that's where my issue comes in. With lots of responsibilities comes a lot of issues. Now, if you're going to suspend someone for cohabiting, why are you suspending just one person? It doesn't make sense. It's like if you catch 2 people having sex, you end up punishing the person who stuck their dick in. And this is with regards to whichever form of sexuality you're into. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense punishing one person for an act that was being done by 2 people. And even worse still, you will constantly talk about how you uphold values, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck is respecting someone's privacy then? Isn't that, a lack of some sense of values? Oh no. Honestly, when I saw that story, when I saw that whole letter of suspension for cohabiting, it hit me in the wrong area. It's probably one of the biggest reasons why people dislike Christianity and a lot of religions. There's a way that some of the superiors just control you, and it's not very nice. I'm not saying that Christianity is bad or Islam is bad or Hinduism is bad. Every religion has its pros and cons, and I believe that, everyone's religion should be respected. Even atheists who have no religion, their stance on it should be respected as well. But I do not see why the hell it is you need to micromanage someone down to their living space. Let people be on their own. Anyways, now that I have started from a child and authority point of view, I might as well handle the questions because I'm more or less in that lineup. First question. What instantly makes you attracted to someone? Booty. That won't even lie to you. It's booty. A woman's behind. The bigger the better. And the more shapely it is, the better it'll kind of appeal to my better sense of judgment. Now, that being said though, that's if I'm walking right behind her. If, I haven't taken a look at the face. Because, no lies, first thing I do actually look at is booty. Then I'll probably pay attention to your face, then maybe your tits. Like my attraction order in terms of things that I like seeing on women is a bit skewed for some people. For some people, they'll be like, it's top to bottom or bottom to top. I start from the lower middle, then I go to the top, then I go to the upper half, which is just the torso more or less, and then I can go look for other things. So that's just personally me. There's guys who are into tits, so they'll go for that. There's guys who are into legs, so they'll probably look at her skirt. If it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, they'll look at how nice those legs look. Like they'll probably stat them in yoga pants or some shit. But for those of us that are into booty, we know the first thing that we look for, whether it's at the front or at the back. A nice face is pretty good to look at. The only problem is you can't exactly define what a nice face is. Because beauty is in the eyes of the beer holder. So depending on how much you have in your system, you can pretty much decide how beautiful or ugly someone is. Which is why I prefer booty. Booty is a lot easier to understand. If it has a large surface area, it's big. If it's a small surface area, it's not that big. There's people with cookie booty, which is a bit confusing. But for those of us who are the initiated, we know what the problem is, and we will clearly state it out. That woman has large hips but no booty, or big thighs and no booty. That being said, the first thing that attracts me is booty. If she decides to talk to me, that goes beyond the first instant. So that one, I will leave it aside. Because as guys, I think even for ladies, y'all are interested in looks as well. Anyways, next question. What advice did your parents give you on dating? Ooh, this one is pretty interesting. Funny enough, I actually haven't had too many talks in regards to dating, but there's obviously some of those things that I've been told. Like my mom told me back when I was, I think, in high school, to make sure I read, make sure I work hard, and I do very well, and I make sure that I'm at the top of my game in school, in class, and then I can get the girls. Now, that is good advice if you're in a mixed school. Now, I was in a single-sex school, with the exception of the A-levels, people being mixed. So either way, it's probably about 80-90% single-sex, so majority wins. It was a single-sex school. And even with that being done, it never got me any girls. And well, then again, I was never at the top of my class while I was in high school. What I can say is it wasn't completely bullshit, but it wasn't necessarily true. If I wanted a girl to smash, then obviously me being at the top of my class doesn't necessarily do shit. Anyone with a good mouth and perfect negotiation skills should be able to get himself a girl to take to bed. But if you're trying to look for, let's say, a wife, of which, why the hell are you looking for a wife in high school? Then yeah, that would probably work. If you're looking for a girlfriend, of course, they would want someone that is at the top of their game. Or at least, as I've been told, women like a guy who is actually excelling in something. It's the whole, power supremacy thing that will attract them to you. So it wasn't necessarily great advice, but it wasn't at the same time. Then, well, let's see, next advice. Whoever it is that, ignored you, ditched you back then, will come back trying to get you now. I will not lie to you. If you have been given this advice, I am not lying to you. Do not bother yourself with actually thinking that the person will come back for you. That is the biggest form of bullshit ever. If y'all don't click, y'all don't click. If they treat you like shit, then it's okay. Pick yourself up, move the fuck on, stop giving a shit about them. The more you give them a piece of your thought process, the more they continue winning. Don't ever follow that bullshit piece of advice. Because fine, yes, there is quite a number of cases where you'll find the person will come back, they'll apologize, they'll want a piece of you, then, you'll have the power at that point. But it doesn't always work that way. The world can be unfair sometimes, and you still end up at their mercy towards the future. This is some shit that people actually never like to acknowledge. Because just because you want someone to come back begging, just because you'd want to have the power over them because they hurt you before, doesn't mean that you'll get it. That is probably what I'd call top level bullshit advice from parents. It does carry quite a bit of merit, but when it comes to dating, when it comes to getting girls, it's absolute bullshit. And I'm gonna say that because I have lived as a teenager in this generation, and I pretty much know. Let's see. Next advice. Look for someone who's nice. I don't know who the hell was saying that. But yeah, I remember being told that advice by a grown-up. Not necessarily by... that was the most vague sort of advice bullshit that I was given. Everyone can be nice. Everyone has it within them to be nice. That's the most vague starting point that you can give me. Like, I'd rather look for someone who's a little bit crazy, because at least then I know she might probably be pretty good between the sheets. For all of y'all niggas that know how good crazy shorties are when it comes to going to the bedroom, y'all can relate with me on this. You feel me? So, I'd rather go for quote-unquote a bad bitch and, get whatever it is that I want from the whole relationship. Let's say, I wanted someone who wants to have a lot of sex, whoever the hell it is that looks for that. I want someone that's a bit clingy and wants my attention from me, someone that I can spoil with my affection, blah, blah, blah. If I'm down for that, I'll go for such a person. If I want someone who's caring, compassionate, gives back to society, not in the sense of, giving pussy back, because no, I don't think anyone wants community pussy. But anyways, where was I? If you want someone towards a certain desire, go chase whatever it is that's there, but don't just go from nice. Also, this whole shit for, she has a great personality. Great personality is okay, but there's other factors that you have to consider. And most of this shit you learn while dating. Although, on the flip side though, I will give the best piece of advice that I have ever been given, not necessarily from a parent. Go test out as many people as possible before you decide to get married. That will help a lot. Now, the reason I just had to flip this around and give this sort of advice is because, okay, that you go and cohabit with a woman that's borderline, a murderer and shit. But a lot of times, you don't even know what it is that you want. It's part of the reason why guys will constantly say that women don't even know the person that they want to date, because they'll say they want a nice person will pop up, and they friend zone them. At some point, they'll say that they're looking for a very, very well-made nigga, and then they end up settling for some guy with basics, absolute fucking basics. So what I will tell you to do, go explore the dating pool. Test out as many different people as possible. You'll know what it is that you want, and you'll know what it is that you don't want. Sometimes there's some of us who are down for a little crazy, and then there's those of us that can't stand that bullshit. But anyways, I think I've answered that question so far in a lot of words. So, next question. What is a good response to what are your intentions with my daughter? Wow, that's a very, very tough one to answer. Have I ever been asked this though? I don't think I have. But if I'd have been asked that, of course, the first thing that you're going to make sure you don't say is, I just want to smash. Because if you answer that, then, well, there's a very good chance that whichever parent it is, whether male or female, will pull a shotgun from nowhere and shoot you in the bloody face. Now, because, of course, as people, we need to make sure we secure ourselves and we get a chance, you have got to pretty much smoothen and sugarcoat your way through that whole situation. It's like handling an interview. You have to make sure you sugarcoat your negotiation skills to the max. Turn that shit up all the way to 11. What are your intentions for my daughter? You can start by saying, well, I believe that you have a very, very beautiful daughter. And personally, I have quite a keen interest in her. I love her personality. I'm just taking her out on a date because I want to get to know her better. And I would love for someone like her to be with someone like me in this very, very unfair world that we're living in. Because let's be honest, there's not enough of her for this world, because she's such a gem. She's so unique as a person. Honestly speaking, I think by the time I'd have gotten through to she's such a gem, they'd have probably gotten tired and asked me another question. But if you do get that far, at least there's like 60% of what it is that you have to say. But for the most part, if someone asks you, you can just be straight with them, but sugarcoat it. What are your intentions with my daughter? I want to take her on a date. I really like her, and I'd like to get to know her more, possibly date her. Usually, most times, they can ask a question of, do you intend on marrying her? What are your plans for the future? What are your short-term or long-term goals? And I'm sure that one you can, after you've answered the what are your intentions with my daughter bit, you should be able to wing that bit. Because for the most part, if someone wants to know the intentions, they better be good fucking intentions, and they better sound as nice and as sweet as possible. Because if you can get it sweet with the parents, oh, trust me, regardless of whether you're a teenager, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, oh my word, if they're on your side, everything just starts to work out. But anyways, that being said, for those of you all that have never been asked that question, you should be lucky. And for those that have been asked that question and have different answers, you all know how to hit me up on Break Time on Westside, on IG, Break Time on Westside, on Facebook, and at Bagaka the D on Twitter. It has been an amazing 2 seasons that I have gone through with y'all, and as usual, I will continue trying to push out all that content, all that goodness in the coming season and also in the coming minisodes. So make sure you all stay tuned for that. As I told you, IGTV is where to go and find the video versions. Actually, yeah, hint, hint, it's a video version. I will see you guys next season. Take care.